Episode 59. Discipline and Consistency. Introducing Myles Lovell on the BTS Creative Academy podcast, Uncut. Milo? Myles?
You can call me Sugar. I don't mind. Milo is absolutely acceptable. Friends call me Milo. You can call me Milo, Martin.
Thank you.
I absolutely love you, so you can call me whatever you like.
I appreciate that. So there's a little tradition.
I know. I've been
this.
looking forward to it. The clap. Yeah.
I love this.
I've been looking forward to it.
Yeah, that people are knowing the clap. So it's like we have to start with the clap.
Yes.
So 3, 2, 1.
Can we do a different one?
Can we
do
do
a low five clap?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. How's this going to go?
Okay.
Go on then.
Clap me when you like.
1, 2, 3. Ooh. Sweet. Here we go. So we're in the podcast. Welcome.
This is it.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me. How are things with you right now?
Yeah, good. As always, a constant change.
Mm-hmm.
Things are always fluid and changing for me. Permanence doesn't really suit me well. I've had a lot of change over the last few years.
Okay.
Going from like 2016 when I was over in New York, and then I was there for a few years, and I came back. I looked after my mum for a while after she had surgery, so I had to completely change careers and everything, and then I was like working dead-end jobs and jobs I hated, so then I was just constantly trying to find my feet again.
Yeah.
And then then I moved up to Cambridge, took on a new job, came back down to Harlow, so I've had to start another job. So, yeah, things are always changing.
Things are always moving around for you.
Yeah, but don't fear the change.
No, I guess there's a point in mid-30s where
Late 30s.
mid to late. I was trying to be generous. Mid to late 30s. Yeah, well,
I'm not ashamed of my age.
I'm 40 this year, and that's a moment of going, wow.
Congratulations, you've made it.
Well, I haven't made it yet. I might not get there, but it's still like.
What do you mean you might not get there?
Who knows?
Don't turn this podcast into doom and gloom so early.
But it is kind of like you do have a moment of reflection at this time in your life, don't you? Like, where have I been so far, and where the hell am I going next?
Yeah. What was your reflection?
My reflection was a complete and utter. I think some might call it a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
A moment of.
Did you get the motorcycle or the sports
No,
car?
I didn't have the money to do any of that.
Snap, man.
No, for me it was a kind of a whole new reinvention of. I had a little period of where I was lost in the world. Like I was like, what have I been doing? Why have so many things not worked out?
Yeah.
And then a little bit of just sort of being not really knowing where I'm going anymore. And then all of a sudden, I found the podcasts, and they've set me off on a brand new direction.
Magic. You found your magic,
and I really appreciate. I love the positive feedback that I'm getting from some people, especially you.
Yeah,
you like that.
I'm a big fan.
It's amazing to see just. The like button just means so much sometimes when you put work into something.
It's a small thing, but it means to creators, it's the world of difference. It just lets it's like the magic that Facebook and stuff originally used to have, and Instagram. You know, that gives you that little bit of serotonin. You know,
yes, and you can get too caught up on it.
Yeah.
You can get you can worry too much about the.
Oh, it can have a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it can be too much of. Oh my god, like no one's looking at the stuff that I'm putting out there.
Oh, was you at the beginning like constantly sort of like?
I wasn't because I never
tracking the views. And
it is there, and I think I look at it in kind of an analytical way.
Yeah,
and I'm reviewing the analytics.
Analytics.
The analytics.
Let's go with that.
The analytics of the podcast and what's going on, and I have lots of ideas of how I want to make this grow and go into to different and new directions. And
yeah, I've heard you talk about the journey or the direction or your hopes for where it goes. But maybe you shouldn't have hopes for it. That's like the natural evolution.
Yes, yeah. I think I've always been quite goal and future driven. That's just my way. That's to look forward at there's the thing that I'm getting. Like, I need to have that in some way.
I saw a fantastic quote. I mean, as you know, and I shouldn't be. I'm addicted to TikTok, and it started off with just watching it on the toilet, and then it became this complete fascination, and then it just and then I had to step away.
It's very clever. It pulls you in.
Addictive, man. The algorithm gets you.
Yeah, because it knows what you're drawn into, what your likes are, what your preferences are.
It learnt me better than me.
Yeah. No, I very much got drawn into.
There was a Denzel Washington, and I absolutely follow like anything to do with like actors or the industry and stuff, especially those sort of short videos that they've got these beautiful messages that just speak to you at the right moment in time.
Yes, yeah.
And there was the Denzel Washington, who's just the man's a flipping genius. He just comes out with some magic, and that's why he's the GOAT,
Yeah.
And it was talking about on the road to achieving your dreams, you must have consistency, and I think it was dedication or something. I think it was dedication. And he's saying that in order to achieve those dreams, you must stay consistent to stay on the path, and without persistence you won't ever start. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And with those two things, you will eventually get there. But I've rarely in my life had solid goals. But those rare times where I have had those goals, I've been a real stubborn bastard. Things can come and try and derail me or try and knock me off the path, but I am stubborn to the point of where I will continually try and make progress. And it's just those little bits of chipping away with progress that gets you to where you need to be.
Why do you think that is?
What
the chipping away? Why do you think it does get you there?
Well, it's point A and point B, and if you can close the gap by eliminating little tasks along the way, one task after the other eventually leads you towards your goal.
There's something in micro tasks, rather than the big huge step.
Yeah.
That almost is impossible. Just it's
insurmountable when you look at it. It's like any problem.
Yes.
When people have got like 5 or 6 real big problems, it's easy to just go and get caught up with it. But if you, and my dad said this, you just break it down and just, handle the things you can handle now and do them in small amounts. And eventually you just find you're chipping away at your problems.
Definitely.
Doesn't stop me freaking out all the time. But, persistence and small little bits of progress eventually get you there.
So do you still pursue acting?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah. That is the current goal.
That is the goal. So where did that start for you? You started fairly young, didn't you?
No, not at all. I'm old to the game.
Right, okay.
Very late to the game. I think that might be where I kind of differ with some of the other guests that you've had on here.
Yeah.
Because I hear a lot of them have started in, little childhood stars and, they've done like dance or this, that and the other. And I didn't do any of that, no.
So what did you feel and think about like drama when you was at school then?
Well, I didn't think much of it. I remember my auntie my Aunt Val, when I was really young, told me to audition for a piece in the Playhouse. And me being a kid, I was just so sort of like, no, I can't do that. So and it's been one of and it still stayed in my head throughout my entire life. One of the regrets, I wish that I'd got into it earlier.
Yes, yeah.
But it wasn't the right time. I think throughout my sort of like teenage years, and just young years, I was obsessed with sport. Like most young kids, most young boys. It started with football, couldn't take the football. No offense to you, because I know you're a football fan.
No,
you're not. Oh,
I'm
you're not.
not.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not football. No. For me,
Rugby.
No. For me, it's sport never got me.
No.
No sport.
So you were the theatre kid.
Yeah. No, I wasn't.
No?
No, because I didn't enjoy it at school.
No.
I didn't connect with it until I was about 16.
Yeah.
So I was fairly young still, but it was outside of school.
You kind of, at that age, you start to discover kind of who you are.
Yeah.
You know a little bit. You start to discover who you are.
Well, before that, I was going to join the RAF, and or the army or something like that.
Salute you,
Yeah.
sir.
So and I enjoyed it. I went to Air Cadets, and I very much enjoyed that. And then I
did as well.
You did Air Cadets.
I did it for about a week.
Right. I was in there for a few years.
I was a naughty little shit when I was younger. You ask anyone. I
quite liked the structure of it.
Yeah.
Whereas
I
know
the
that
drills.
where some kids didn't like that, but yeah, no, sport never connected with me.
Yeah.
And I have quite a sporty family actually. My dad's very much into sport, but yeah, it just I was always a little bit baffled by the crowds of people cheering on the people playing a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I don't know what's wrong with my brain, or to say wrong, or to say wrong is not correct, is it? I don't know that.
You think because it doesn't conform to the norm, you think that it's not normal.
Yes, yeah. There's some. I've got a different way of thinking, that's for sure. And if I was to watch a sporting event, I'm more interested in like the human aspect of these people on grass kicking around a ball and everyone cheering.
What's it all for?
Yeah, why?
For?
Why are you getting so wrapped up in it? That's what I'm more concerned about.
I think from my own perspective, it's pinning your hopes on something, and when it succeeds, it's just something to cheer about.
Yeah, sure.
And I got wrapped up in rugby in school. I started doing it with Harlow Rugby Club, and I made some great friends through that, and did some absolute batshit things. It's a lot of the stories that you hear about rugby clubs and rugby lads is true. I wasn't your typical rugby player though.
Okay.
I wasn't boisterous. I was just an absolute prat. And I think most people that you speak to will probably say, oh, yeah, what a knob, yeah. Because I just have that sort of frantic, stupid energy in me to just to do the thing that most people would look at and think, there's something not right with that kid.
So you're still playing rugby now?
No. I went back to it years later. But yeah, so this is the evolution of me getting into drama. So yeah, it started with rugby. And there's something within rugby which relates very well with the arts as well. And it's so I loved being a part of something, that team. There's something tangible within playing rugby or any sport where you're in the moment. You could be running towards the goal, or you could be running with the ball in hand, or in gymnastics you could be running to the vault. There's something there. It's like it's magic. Everything blurs away, and you're just so within your zone. Do you know what I mean? And it's the same with drama. I found I didn't know that to begin with, but I eventually found it. So I was performing at Moot Hall. And it was those guys that at first took me in to do drama,
right?
Like actually doing shows. And we was doing From Here to the Library by Jimmy Chin. It was written by Jimmy Chin, and it was directed by Chris Millington. If you know Chris, oh God, I love that guy. He's just brilliant, so funny. And there was just this moment within doing the play. It was a 3-person play, very, very dialogue heavy. It was the first challenge I'd ever had to do.
And how old was you at this point?
This was last year, a year ago.
Wow,
Yeah,
so
2
it
years
really
ago.
is.
Yeah,
You really are coming
very,
to acting.
yeah.
So I wonder where
Post-pandemic.
I've got this idea of you doing acting before that, then, or performing. I
No.
wonder what that is.
So I was in a band for a long time. That might have been it.
Yeah. And your connections with a mutual friend, Dan Thomas.
Yeah. So I've
so-
known Dan since we were like 4 or 5 years old. And I think the envy of watching Dan is what influenced me to wanting has made me brave to do these things as well. But
envy, or have you been a little bit inspired, or a bit of both?
It's both, because I've watched Dan on stage when he, as I was saying to you, earlier on, when I watched him here, it was the first time that I'd really seen him do any acting, and he was doing an Irish accent. I was like, oh, no, Dan could do an Irish accent. And I mean, if you listen to him, you'll always hear him quoting Red Dwarf or Blackadder or something.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. The guy's tattooed with it.
Yeah.
And he's just, he's just so in it. When he's just talking to people, and the quotes come out, he's just so in it. He's brilliant. And I was watching him on stage, and it was just absolutely transformative, seeing a completely different Dan Thomas up on stage. And I was way up in the back because I was hiding. I didn't want him to see me. And I was just sitting there thinking, God, I wish I could do something like that. And when I got to like 17, 18, playing rugby, I was playing with Ep59, and I had a major accident where I ended up getting injured, nearly broke my neck. I woke up in hospital to having my uniform cut off me, and then I had a neck brace for God knows how long after that. And anyone that went to college with me will probably remember seeing me with a foam tire around my neck for about a year. It still affects me now. I have to warm up my neck, because most movement I had at one point was like that. That was it. And most people make the comment, "Oh, you okay? You look a bit stiff." And when in an office with a swivel chair, I definitely swiveled.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then when like my dreams of playing rugby just came crashing to a halt, and that was like I say, a pivotal moment in development of a human being. You're 18, 19, 20s. It's when you start sort of becoming an adult, and it all changed for me, and I became really bitter. Dealing with this thing where I was injured, and then it brought on my arthritis. I couldn't walk properly. I couldn't lift anything heavier than empty coffee mug. I had to use crutches for a while. I've had a cane for a bit. So I had some real health issues during those times and throughout my 20s. And I had to rediscover what makes me me. What can I do? Where can I get my enjoyment? As usual, one evening I was being a prat. I was drinking a crate of expired Sprite 3G, which made it onto the market for a short time because it was nuclear and it had to be taken off the market. A friend of mine, Matthew Truman, invited me round to his one evening.
Matthew Truman.
Oh, you know Matthew Truman as well? There you go.
Yeah. It's a small world, isn't it?
The web that weaves us all.
Yeah.
And
it's a name that I haven't heard for a very long time.
Yeah. He's
early days of doing.
He looks like Cousin It now, with his hair down to his knees.
Really?
Yeah, he's well into his heavy metal drumming now.
I think he was in the first amateur production that I did.
He did a few little bit, and his brother, Danny.
Right.
So Truman invited me round, and the house was a fog. He introduced me to this guy he'd met, Mark Carter, and they were both auditioning for this band, and the band rejected the pair of them. They were like, well, sod this, we're going to go away and make our own band. And they invited me round, and they were playing Mark's music. He'd already written and recorded like 3 or 4 albums worth of music. And Matt was like, what do you think? I was like, this is really good, man. This is some heavy stuff. And Mark just said, can you do this on stage? I went, do what? He went, this. I went, I'm just being a knob. And he went, yeah, can you do that on stage? I went, yeah, sure, fine, yeah. And he went, well, we need a singer. I said, well, I've never sung before in my life. I butchered a version of Angels by Robbie Williams with my dad in karaoke once, but that was as far as it went. They said, listen to a couple of these. These are some artists that we're trying to sort of like, get an influence from. And because Mark was a real Jimi Hendrix dude. I mean, he had I'm not kidding, neck to belt mural of Jimi Hendrix on his back, tattooed.
Right.
Insane. And he was the ghost of Hendrix in the white curly haired form. And that was it. I just turned up to rehearsals. I didn't know how to sing. I knew how to shout. It was, I sort of thought I was cool that way. And 10
Why
months,
do you think you gave it a go? Why do you think you jumped into that?
Regrets.
Okay.
Regrets. People, you hear these people which go, I've got no time for regrets. Don't have regrets. I say the opposite. Have regrets. Regrets, for me, have given me courage. I look back at the regrets in my life and I think I won't make that mistake again, or I won't say no to an opportunity like that again. And that's what's gotten me where I am, I think, with lots of things. And that's why lots of people say, you've got so many stories. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I just do shit. Whether it's sensible or fun or dangerous, I don't care. It's another story. It's another thing I can get experience from. And
learn and grow from it.
Yeah. It's character building. And you can bring that to anything that you do, creative or otherwise. And I did the band for like 10 years. We were really, I'd say we were really good performing wise. Our songs maybe weren't, commercial. It wasn't really what was going to be played on the radio.
No.
But we loved it. And the fans that we had followed us around everywhere.
And what type of places did you play?
Mostly like back in the day, like places like the Square. I mean, that was a haven to everyone that was a bit alternative. The Hartford Marquee, when that was banging around, the Hartford Corn Exchange. We played loads of little gigs in the Purple Emperor. We played loads of little.
So you did loads of little like intimate spaces.
Yeah,
small intimate pub.
And I remember when we did this gig in London, and do you remember the guy? Did you remember the Mighty Boosh?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, you remember the Naboo, the geezer with the turban?
Well, do you know what? I'll be completely honest. I've never watched it. I know the Mighty Boosh.
Yeah, you know of it. But
I know of it, but I've never seen. I've been meaning to watch it when I'm in the right. I've always been like one of those things. I think you have to be in the right frame of mind for that, don't you? Yeah.
It's a silliness that you need to be in the right mood for. And there was a guy in it. I think he was called the Mighty Naboo, and it was almost like in Big with the guy that you put the coin into the.
Yes.
He sat in one of those, and he was very sensible and straight-faced the way he spoke, and it was very, very funny. Well, he was there one night at this gig. He was DJing,
right,
and he was the weirdest chap you'd ever met in your life. And we were outside the back, smoking something herbal, and he just come out the back, and he was just like a bloodhound. He was like, I thought I smelled something. And he went, oh, you guys were on earlier. And we were like, yeah. He goes, oh, I love that. What's it called? 2 Left Feet. And we were like, yeah. He goes, oh, you can really dance the funky goose to that one. And we were like, this guy's nuts. He was wonderful.
Yeah.
And, and that was the thing. We were just a bit different. And I think like musicians and creatives liked us.
Yes, yeah.
And we didn't really have much success. We played the
It
Portsmouth
sounds like you've got a
Guildhall.
lot of fondness looking back on those 10 years.
Oh yeah, man! I loved it. I loved it. It was a wild time. I threw conformity to the freaking wind. I was just like, I don't want your bullshit jobs, and I just want to do stupid stuff and light my hair on fire, and. And then when the band, we broke up for, creative differences. When the band broke up, once again, I didn't know where to put my energy into, what to put my focus into.
And why didn't you continue? Why didn't you look for like another band or continue the music? Did you feel like that time of maybe?
I eventually progressed into a good singer. Eventually, I wasn't great, but you know, I could hold a tune. Through years, like 10 years, you know, that exercise, my lungs were, you know, great. I had great lung capacity. I mean, I've smoked it all away now. And now I can hold a tune, but I haven't got that vocal range anymore because, you know, it's a muscle, like anything. But yeah, as with finding another band, it was sort of like, you know, a chapter had sort of closed almost on there, and I don't know, I wanted new and better heights or something different. And as well, I don't know if you've ever been in a band, but
no,
it's fucking hard work, man. The grind of being in a band.
What bit is hard work? I would guess as an outsider, the personalities, the egos.
No, not at all. No, it was. What defeats you is the industry itself. You know, you put hours of rehearsal in, and then you go and do these gigs, and it's all down to how popular you are. It's all about how many people can you bring to an event. You know, the promoters and stuff, they didn't give a shit. They would literally they would ask bands that had a big MySpace following.
MySpace back in the day.
Yeah, big MySpace following. And, you know, Arctic Monkeys changed all that, you know, with their popularity and stuff with MySpace. That's what... And, like, promoters would find bands that had a big following and, you know, they would promote them.
Yeah.
But unless you had that massive following, they'd say, right, you've got a certain amount of tickets you've got to sell, and it'd be down to you. You know, whilst you still got this 9 to 5 daily life, and then you've got your rehearsals, and then you've got your family life, and then you've got to sell tickets, and then you've got, you know, it was just you turn up and, you know, there's one man and his dog.
The business side of it.
Yeah, you know, you'd bring like 15, 20 people, and none of the other bands brought no one. Not everyone can make some of the gigs. You know, you'd be playing in like central London on a Wednesday night, and it's, you know, not everyone can make it. So you turn up and there's like 3 people there, and after all those hours and all that, you know, energy put into things, and it's just so deflating.
Yes. But was it worth it?
Well, we just treated it like it was just a bit of fun, you know. If no one turned up, we were like, "Well, sod you. We're just gonna enjoy ourselves." I remember we got turned off one night. We were told we were too loud.
Of course.
So what happened? My drummer told him to F off and told Mark to crank the volume up on the amps, and we did. And then
I think that's the worst thing you can do.
Well, we were nuts.
Could you turn it down a bit, please?
Stop being such a square, man.
Yes, yeah.
And we just went nuts with it, and they eventually cut. There you go. You know, it's rock and roll, man. But so when music was done and dusted for me, I sort of bumbled around, and but then it was when I was over in New York. So a mate of mine out there, very dear friend of mine who I'm still in touch with now. She's now a semi-producer. I think she's done off-Broadway producing. She's also an agent and a manager out there now, Stevie Booth. If anyone over here is listening from the States, definitely look up Stevie. She's phenomenal, and the work she's getting her people is just all Broadway, you know, all that sort of stuff. She's top-notch person, absolutely lovely person. And one night, drinking in this bar, she said to me, because I said, I've got this presentation to do for work, and I was not, you know, I could stand up if I had the words given to me and repeat the words with absolute confidence, but I don't know, there was something about presenting something, it wasn't something that I'd done, so I was very nervous about it, you know, that public speaking thing. And Stevie said, well, why don't you go and do some acting classes, and, you know, it'll get you used to being in front of, you know, people and in that sort of environment, and the improv side of things will just give you that kind of confidence. And I was like, you know, I ummed about it, and then I was earning really good money whilst I was out there, and I was just like, you know what, it's not about the money, because it is expensive, but sod it. And I went to a place called the Barrow Group, which was right next to Madison Square Garden. Something magical about that place. The teaching style is so different from the US to the UK. You can see some similarities, where they quote about Meisner and stuff like that. But just it's very different. And this guy, I forget his name, Stephen. I can't remember his name. This actor that was my first ever acting teacher. To me, he was a god. Mm-hmm. He turned around and he watched us for a bit. And then he said, all you have to do is do this. And then he turned around and he did it. And we all looked at him like, that. You just made it look so bloody simple. Mm-hmm. And he went, because I've had training, because I've had experience, I've been taught, I've honed my skills, and eventually you'll get there. And I was like, will I? Yes.
I'll keep paying. I'll keep coming along every
week. That was it. That was the hook. I carried on going. I made some phenomenal friends out there, which I still stay in touch with now. There was something about it, and it just clicked for me. Mm-hmm. Albeit late in life, I think I was like 34, 35. Right. But it just clicked, and I was like, this is it. The amount of times I walked out of a cinema or I watched something on TV and I wanted to be part of the adventure, but never had that courage to just go for it, and I did. And then when I came back to the UK, I reached out to Moot Hall because I knew Eve Marie from back when we were working at Jumping Jacks, the biggest, best party in town.
That takes me back.
Jumping Jacks.
Jumping Jacks. It was a different type of nightclub, wasn't it?
Oh man. I remember when they brought in binge drinking laws. Like there was the Sunday nights where it was £1 a bottle of drink, and you used to go there with a tenner and get absolutely loopy on bottles of
WKD Blue. Yeah, God. Jumping Jacks. I wasted far too much money up there.
But I used to have. I worked behind the bar there, and it was amazing. I used to love that place.
Where you were allowed to have fun.
Yeah.
Like I feel like every other nightclub took itself far too seriously.
Yeah.
Whereas in there, it was the most cheesy music, and everyone was being a little bit stupid.
Yeah.
And it was a fun environment.
It was a place to go nuts.
Whereas in the town, there was also Millennium or
Liquid.
It changed its name so many times.
My dad says to me, there used to be the Birdcage.
There you go, the Birdcage as well. That was the main. That was like the famous one of the town, wasn't it? That nightclub. But it was so serious. A place
you wanted to stay away from as well.
It was so serious, wasn't it? There was a seriousness to it.
But it was the other. It was the place that catered for the other half of the sort of nightlife community. Those that love like the club tunes. That was the club scene.
That's where.
Whereas like Jumping Jacks was
pop music and 80s vibes.
Yeah, it was fun. It was quirky. It was something stupid. And it used to get rammed.
It did. It really did.
You couldn't move in that place.
Yeah.
And I remember eventually it degraded to the point of where like it had to close down. It weren't making money. And it just changed so much. And I remember, like I was saying with Eve Marie, she was one of the DJs, and she also was the dance captain. Because I don't know if you remember when they used to get them up in the flashy outfits doing the Uptown Girl.
It was almost a bit holiday camp, like red coat type entertainment in a nightclub, wasn't it?
Butlins thing.
Yes, it really was.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we were up on like anyone that was working behind the bar. They said it's part of it. You've got to do it. And I was just like, no one told me bloody this. So I had to get up and do. I think the only one number I actually did was A Little Less Conversation. The Elvis Presley remix one. Yeah. And I can remember seeing Eve's frustration with my uncoordinated abilities. I didn't bloody dance before, so I looked like an idiot, but I loved it. And then so when I got back, I knew that she was doing something. I knew she was part of it somehow. So I thought, I'll reach out. I did, and she came back and said, we just started doing a production of Oliver. We need people. Just like extras for like the bar scene and stuff like that. I said, yeah, absolutely.
So this was local amateur dramatics.
Yeah, this was the first thing.
Okay.
And I thought, do you know what? Small steps, extra in a bar, no problem. I can stand there in the back of a bar, and that suits me down to the ground. I turned up, She said, yeah, so you're playing the local tavern bard. So I was like, all right, okay. So we'll give you a guitar. You don't have to play it. And then all of a sudden, her husband, Jack, went, oh, hang on a minute. You can play guitar. I went, well, I never said that. He went, oh, can you play guitar? I said, well, yeah, a little bit. I know some chords. He went, great. Well, you can learn the song and join in with this. I was like, right, okay. So I've gone from extra to playing the guitar.
Yeah.
Right, okay. And then they went, about a week later, we need the Bow Street Runner. We need a Bow Street Runner. Can you play the Bow Street Runner? Yeah, sure, yeah. So then I was playing the Bow Street Runner, and then I had a gun with a real blank to fire. Never fired a gun before in my life. And it shit me up as much as it did the crowd. I tell you that. It made a sound. I remember it all had to be put in this lockbox at the end of the night and stored away.
I guess there's some safety procedures with that.
Oh, yeah. And then it went from that to, we need a clerk for the court scene. So I'm playing 4 parts in my first ever thing, and I've got lines, and it was only like 1 or 2 lines, but
it was enough.
Yeah, but the chaos of it, and the collaboration and the anything to make it work. That's community theatre. It's just it's just that team, and I found
going back to like that thing that you found with rugby.
I found the team again.
Yeah, and
it was just I think the nerves, they fade a little bit. The anticipation and butterflies of excitement doesn't, but the nerves fade away. And I still had the nerves, but there was moments in it where, and when you're, I don't know, audience members or people that have never been part of it, they don't get that we can't see you.
No.
When the lights are on, we can't see you. So it's like we're in a rehearsal room, and if you're really in it,
you're in that state, aren't you?
You're in that world. Just like back when you were a kid and you played
Have you ever seen the film Soul, the Disney film?
Yeah.
Where they talk about like being in the flow, like discovering the flow state.
Yeah.
When he's playing the music, it's like that. There's a special place, and you get that when you're on the stage, don't you? And like you were saying, you get that when you played rugby.
Yeah. And
it's a very special place for humans to be, isn't it?
It's magic. It really is. And now I've become a junkie for it.
Yeah.
But
100%.
It's taken me somewhere else. Beforehand when I was doing these classes and stuff, when I started back up with Eve and the guys and the gang, I then put myself out to doing acting classes. So I now, and it's where I am now. It was just, it made me want to experience it more often. Or to figure out what it was I was experiencing. So then when I heard, experiences from other actors that had also had that moment, I wanted to live in it. And I found that, from experience of listening to other professionals and actors in the industry, and I think this is where they get off on it as well. It's just, and it's like Myles says, living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. And when you're there, you become someone else. You really adopt this other personality. And through doing it, I found that I could live in that a little bit longer. But it was all about the work. And as Femi Ogun says, the work is the work is the work. There you go, plug for identity for you guys there. And it really is. The harder you work it, and the more work you put into not just learning your lines. That's nothing. Learning your lines is a standard, but it's learning the eccentricities of the character, the complexities, the things that make them tick, their faults. And I think, really learning to be someone else is learning to live in someone else's faults and failures. And if you put that work in, it sustains everything that you do on stage to the point of where it's like breathing. You don't think about what you're doing. It just supports you. And when you're doing that, it just allows you to let go. And you're purely in the moment, almost as if you are reacting as if you were in that actual moment. And it's beautiful.
And being with others that are also experiencing the same thing.
Oh, yeah. You cannot do it without brilliant supporting cast. You can't. there's a level of trust there that you don't get in, I don't think, other areas of industry or creativity. I mean, maybe you do. I can't speak from experience from, what other people do on things I haven't experienced. But they're a good, you should at all times be trying your best to make the other person shine. And if they're a good cast member, they'll be doing the same for you. Rising tide raises all ships. It really does. If you make someone else try harder or support them to make them look good, there's that level of trust that they'll do the same for you. And if you're both doing your job that way, you have some absolute beautiful moments on stage. And it's just, even watching it, you can see what's good acting, what isn't good acting. You can tell when someone's put the effort in. And when you can see good actors on stage, in local community theatre, whether it's local community theatre, Broadway, West End, Netflix, the big screen, it takes you somewhere else. And everyone's experienced that at some point in time or the other, where they're watching something and they forget they're watching something. They forget they're actors. And it's just, it's absolute magic.
Yeah, I had that with, I was watching the other night, Mr. Bates versus the Post Office.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen
The
that one
big
yet?
topic.
It's the big topic right now.
Yeah, no,
the big talking point.
Mother had it on the TV. And I, like loads of people, oblivious to
the
what
situation,
happened. Yeah. And they're right in what they're saying, everywhere at the moment is, why does it take ITV to make a drama series about something for someone to finally pay fucking attention? Let's not go into politics, please.
Well, the thing...
Otherwise, you'll never get home. You'll never get home.
No, I think it's quite important in this aspect that there's something in the storytelling.
Yeah.
Is we could have been told in the papers the ins and outs and the factual details of what had happened in the paper, and we would have sat back and we wouldn't have paid much attention to it. No. But a drama was created from something that happened. Yeah. We watched that and got emotionally connected.
Yeah, 100%.
As a nation, we've sat back and watched this program. We're emotionally connected with these individuals now.
Yeah.
The politicians at the top have changed the laws within a week of it being a drama.
Dirty word, politician. Dirty word.
But because they're emotionally connected now, rather than looking at it on a piece of paper.
Absolutely.
And it goes to show the importance of storytelling. With what's happening right now. It is sad that we have to go to storytelling to make the changes.
I think ITV's found a new thing now.
Yeah,
they're just going to be going through the history books and looking what else hasn't been sorted yet.
It's always been around, but this one's particularly relevant because it's still lingering.
It connects.
It's still lingering.
Because they're us. The actors you're watching are playing real people that exist today, which still haven't had justice. And a lot of us are still feeling that injustice in just, everyone's got it at the moment, whether it's, I'm not going to go into it, but it depends which side of the coin you sit on, the Brexit debate, the COVID issue, there's loads of things which this parliament, this government has not sorted out. And everyone can feel that injustice, no matter what side of the fence you sit on. So everyone then, I think, felt that their injustice was being heard through their injustice.
Yes, yeah.
And then, seeing it in the news now, what's her fancy pants face that, was running the scandal at the time, I forget her name. Yeah. She had a CBE, that's been taken back now. And now they're talking about Alan Bates getting an honours as well, and good for him. Good for him. I mean, when you watch that series and you realise what he went through for others, and it wasn't about himself so much, but for others, just for that justice for everyone.
Well, I've not finished watching
that Robin Hood thing.
I've not finished watching the whole programme yet, so
don't
give me any spoilers. But
cut that.
I'm halfway through, but no, these people did sacrifice a lot, and they have seen a lot of injustice, and it took storytelling to do something about it. Yeah. And
you've got to touch people's hearts to really make them pay attention.
Understand what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was glued to it. It
was a nice thing for me to watch as well. So I've been doing acting for 20 plus years now.
God, you do make me feel like the newbie.
Well, like I say, I started when I was 16, and the very first professional I don't know why I did that, because it was in the quotation mark. But I think I did that because I have being a professional. Yeah, the whole professional thing around creating your thing of what that's judged on.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions about that.
Yeah.
Like, where do we value the money for doing your job and things like that. But anyway, I digress. The very first job that I ever had as an actor was working on a documentary.
Yeah.
And I was working on a documentary with a brand new director, first time in TV. My first time doing something on TV as well. So we were both newbies. And he just directed that.
Oh, same director.
It was the same director. So I'm like, wow, you've gone in 20 years.
Still got his contact details?
I follow him on Instagram.
Is there a sequel coming?
But yeah, no, really nice. It's really nice to see people progress. And I've seen him put in the work. He directed Doctor Who as well. He's directed a few major British TV things. But I like to think I was there at the beginning with this guy.
I was there before it was cool.
Before he's making the most popular
before
TV.
Everyone jumped on the bandwagon.
Exactly.
I made him get there.
Yeah. But him himself, he's been to Parliament recently, the director and the person that's, he's driven this story forward into the mainstream.
And boy, did he bloody do it. He did it well.
Yeah.
I mean, as I say, when you're watching, you're taken over. It's no longer... it's entertainment, but it's no longer entertainment. It becomes something for you. Do you know? You sit there like glued. Just wanting them to succeed. Do they get it back? Do they make it? Are they going to make them bend over and pay out? You constantly you're invested. And I think he did that so well.
Our generation as well we've been lied to so much now.
Oh, gaslit. Gaslighting is a big thing.
Yeah, we're the generation, we have zero trust for companies, politicians, the world. It's becoming
it's the boomer, and I say boomer generation, I don't like these labels.
We're millennials, aren't we?
We are apparently millennials, yeah.
Yes. We say like we don't know, but we are.
We've been told.
Yeah.
But the boomer generation, I think a lot of our generation and younger are now hopeful for the future because we can see it's on. When they say the night is darkest before dawn, I think we're getting to that stage. You can't get any darker than deporting people to a third world country.
Yes.
And there's, I think we're finally seeing it break. Something's breaking.
Well, if you look back in history, there was. I remember
I've just burped over the microphone. You said no fizzy drinks. I had no fizzy drinks, and I still burped
and it still
over the
came
microphone.
out. It's okay. We'll muffle that bit. I'll try and remember.
Cut that.
But in history we've seen, haven't we, that we've just gone through the pandemic. That's kind of just behind us now.
Yeah.
And there's a kind of a new world forming since that, a big global event. But it happened only 100 years ago the last time.
When you pandemic?
There was the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
In the early 1920s. And when that was over, there was the Roaring '20s. There was a huge boom in music and entertainment, and Hollywood was born. It really was born in that era. Entertainment took on a new lease of life. Nightclubs were opening, and the world became alive all of a sudden.
I have a feeling if I said to you, if you could live in any era, it would be the 1920s now, wouldn't it?
My potential thing is, are we not potentially going into that now?
The 2020s echoing the 1920s.
Echoing the 1920s.
It's like someone has to fuck it up at the beginning of the
beginning of the
hundreds.
Beginning of the century, so that we can we can have maybe a restart and a repush, and so much invention and so much innovative.
And then we'll go through it again in 2120.
Exactly. Yeah, probably. And they'll probably.
We don't learn. It takes a century for us to learn a lesson.
Probably. Yeah. Another generation. Like maybe every other generation kind of just forgets all the mistakes.
Maybe it is. You
tell your children,
you forget
and
to
then
appreciate what you have, and you take it for granted, and then it takes the people which don't get the reward to then say, well, why not us? You've had your fucking time. You've had all of the bonuses, the bonuses and the benefit of fucking things over for yourself individually. Now it's our turn to share things and prosper, and there's something.
So there's hope then, is what we're saying.
I definitely think there is. I definitely think there is. You've got loads of, all of the new artists and younger artists, which, during the pandemic were absolutely shunned to one side. I remember hearing you talk about it with Caroline Petherbridge.
Yes,
you were talking about the poster, the ballerina. And
that came out very early in the pandemic. It was very early when they were saying, right, everyone's going to have to start home.
I hadn't yet joined drama school, but even I saw that, and I was like, I knew people within, the arts, and I was just like, there's no justice. Go and start becoming a cyber person.
Yes, yeah. What are you going to do?
Like, people chose doing arts because they're not that.
Yeah.
They don't want the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And
it's not just a wanting either.
No,
it's who they
belong.
are. It's who they are as a person. Yeah. We are all different.
Sorry,
people.
belong's not the right way to say it. You don't belong.
No, but we're different. There's different types of people. There's different personalities, and we fit in to different human needs.
Yeah.
We don't all need to conform to doing what the man says. Do you know?
F the man.
Yeah.
F the man.
I think we just found our episode.
Yeah, there you go. It's F the man. And I like the fact that I can now say I'm part of the we, the collective of we. I do consider myself a creative now. I don't write, I don't direct, but there's.
But you're an actor.
Yes.
And that might take you on other journeys. You might discover other things from acting.
Yeah, possibly.
So
but this is it. I want to see where it goes.
Exactly. So where anything else come from this acting journey so far? So you've done a bit of amateur dramatics.
Yeah, I've done a bit of extra work in movies.
You've done some extra work. Because I remember a while back you messaged me, didn't you, and said,
I think so.
You said how you getting the extra work.
Yeah.
So you've done a little bit of extra
work. And now
work
I can't watch Harry Potter without looking for your shining moment going through the turnstiles. I'm telling you, man, because I love Harry Potter. Right? I'm wearing Harry Potter gloves right now. I think I've got the Gryffindor ones on. No, Ravenclaw. There you go.
Okay.
But yeah,
well, apparently that's where I'm in Ravenclaw.
I'm a Slytherin. See.
Right. Okay.
Dirty.
I don't even know what that means. Sorry.
And before anyone says anything, Harry Potter was a Slytherin. You don't like it, you're gonna have to love it. It's true. He chose Gryffindor. He's such a conformist. And yeah, like I've done a few bit of extra work. I did some body doubling in Rocket Man, the Elton John.
Yes, yeah.
I was the guy driving the Bluesology van, the old Bedford van, and that was a story in itself, man. That was fun.
Go on then, what happened? So this is the new. Yeah. You're new to getting into the film industry, and you.
Oh man, it's intoxifying. It really is. I love it. I turned up at like 4:00 in the morning after having to do like 2 COVID tests on 2 separate days, and like the costume and makeup, and that was funny as well because I was over at this they were filming on this location in the middle of Hertfordshire. It was this big like mansion house with a huge estate, and I was having a fag on the side of like one of these grassy areas, and this person behind me went, Robert. And I was like, carry on smoking my fag, and she went, Robert, and I turned around and she went, oh. I'm sorry, I thought you was Robert Downey Jr. I went, what? I'll take that. And yeah, it was just being in being at this set was just something else, something that the average person doesn't get to go and see and experience. It was so cool. Yeah. Seeing people running around and getting things set up and moving from one.
Finally getting to see how it works, how it all comes together.
Behind the scenes, BTS behind the scenes, and and then it was, as I say, like the proper day that I got to shoot for it was 4:00 in the morning. I had this wig glued to my head. I was wearing like 50 style clothing. And like I say, I was there at 4:00 in the morning. I come out of the makeup and costume area to hear like some of the people arguing and stuff outside, so I was just listening in from, a bit of a distance, and I heard them arguing about the van. So like the guy that owned these vans and classic cars, his approved drivers were the extras in the film. But of course, because I was body doubling for one of the actors, I had to drive the Bedford Bluesology van. And I heard him go, well, he doesn't know how to drive it, blah, blah, blah. And I went, excuse me, sorry, I couldn't help over here. What's the problem? He said, well, you don't know how to drive it. I said, well, can you drive it? And he went, well, of course I can. I went, well, how did you learn? And he went, my father taught me when I was, I said, well, how long is it going to take? He went, well, I said, is it going to take 5 minutes? He went, well, well, let's do it. Yeah. And I remember the producer just looking at me and going, and I sat there with my stupid wig on, learning to do this. And it was I think it's called single column gear shift change. Weird, man. Right. Weird. It's like a giant indicator off a steering wheel. Okay. And to do it, you have to pump it, and it's down for first, up to the centre, away from you, and up for second, then down again all the way to third. Do you know what I mean? And the maximum speed on this thing was 40 miles an hour. And I remember having the walkie-talkie, and they were filming on this rooftop on the side of this motorway. I had police escort because I had to shut down the motorway, and there was me in this van. I'm telling you, like, I was leaning into it, trying to make it go faster, just trying to get it up to 40 mile an hour, just so I could pass the motorway at the same time that they had these two other classic cars on the other side of the motorway passing at the same time. So it looked like an active motorway back in the 1950s. Right, okay. And I just remember hearing like, cut, Myles, can we possibly try and do that once more, but a little bit faster, please? And I was like, so I had to do more of a run up, and then I was sort of like giving the police escort a little bit of a wink, like, go for it. Yeah. And that was just so much fun.
It's almost
just
like
something different.
It's like playing as adults, isn't it? Yes.
You've got your toys, go and play. Yeah. It was freaking brilliant, and I loved it. And then I did that, and then I did another little feature. It wasn't a feature film. It was a student movie. It was a student movie in this bar where it was this transvestite was doing like a scene in a bar singing, and their father was in the crowd discovering them for the first time. We didn't really get told a hell of a lot of the details, because a lot of these projects around the rap, you don't get told what you're doing, sometimes not until on the day or not at all. Yes, yeah. And I was just a person in the bar. And, they had the track playing, and then the person singing on the stage, the actor singing on the stage. And it was just brilliant. Eventually after about 30 takes, you hear the same song over and over again, and you're like,
done now.
But it was, the actor that was doing it, I felt just something for them, watching them work so hard to just take after take after take, trying to nail this thing and trying something different and trying to connect with a new member of the audience to try and create a moment. And it was, it all added to me wanting to take it further, because that's all I was doing back then was little extra bits.
Yes, yeah.
And I reached out to you to ask how you got onto it and stuff. And you said like agents and stuff, contact, these agencies, and I was working through, and I did a little bit of work actually where I was playing a dead guy a couple of weeks ago.
That's a good one. Nice easy job laying down.
I was like 2 years of acting training, and I get to play dead. And it was brilliant. I did like 30 minutes work, but I was there for 6-7 hours. And it, because I'm not acting in it, I'm laying dead. I reveled in speaking to people behind the scenes, like the other actors, the other extras, the camera people, the runners, and the assistant directors, and all of them. They're people that work on sets are just absolutely wonderful individuals. They really are, and they're the unsung heroes. People get up at the end of a film finish and they just walk out on the credits, unless it's a Marvel thing. But yeah, these people that all work together to make this magic happen, and it just you want to get to know them, because they're so integral to how it all comes together. Because without them, the actors are just standing there playing, and nothing gets captured.
Nothing happens.
Nothing gets captured. But it's the simple things that they do behind it. You know, the guy that holds the boom. If you ever held a boom, I imagine you have.
Yes,
it's flipping hard work.
2 minutes I can do.
Yeah, I did it. So a classmate of mine had spent 5 years writing this thing, and last year in the summer we got to film it together and bring it to life, and it was the first sort of first filming I'd ever done where I'd actually acted in front of a camera. And because it was just, you know, 3-4 people and camera equipment, I said to him, you know, when I'm not there, I'll do the filming, or I'll, you know, hold the boom or whatever, anything to get it off the ground to make his vision happen. Because I love George Kirby Smith, and eventually when that film comes out, you know, watch out for it. It's brilliant. George is such a great creative. He's a great writer, and I can't wait till it comes out. I don't think he's got an actual title for it yet.
So sorry, is this an indie film?
Yeah. Just a short film that he made, and we were. You know, we were setting up a camera on an ironing board in the kitchen with a tea towel underneath the feet, so that when we dragged it to get this, you know, dolly shot, you know, it didn't make any sound, and we were doing it in our socks and our bare feet, so you couldn't hear the pitter patter of the feet. Nice. And it was all about, you know, trying to make it happen, and it was so much fun. And I held the boom mic, and I loved it. I loved it. If I don't become an actor, I'll happily go into holding a boom. I loved it. It was great. And it's just, and I can see from doing that why these people do what they do. They're, like I say, unsung heroes, and they're so talented at what they do. It's art. It's grueling. And I remember with this boom mic, we had this shot where we had to open the door, close the door, but the actor, obviously, the two actors were standing at the door. And at some point, because it's wind and everything, you know, and it was a low budget boom mic, but I had to, once the door opens, dip underneath the door frame and get it underneath so no more wind coming, so you couldn't hear, you know, and just doing that and making sure it didn't dip into frame was just so difficult. Yeah. And that was low budget, you know, and you've got these people doing explosions with Michael Bay and all this sort of, you know, like, don't burn the fuzz on the...
And there you are, ducking through the door.
I'm there, man. I'm there. You need a boom ducked under a door frame. I'm your dude. I'm your dude. It's cool. I'm trained in it now. Yeah, and I loved all that collaborating. It was fantastic. And I encourage anyone, if you're thinking about writing, if you haven't thought about it before, if you want to go and just get some experience in it, go and film something, because I mean, you could do it with an iPhone these days.
Yeah, similar to what I'm doing here. Look, the iPhone's just right in front of us.
Is it an iPhone?
It is an iPhone. It's an iPhone.
Plug for Apple.
Yeah.
Well done, Apple.
Yeah. Well, they just filmed their latest advert all on the iPhone, didn't they?
Did they?
Yeah, for the iPhone. I think it's the iPhone. I'm probably wrong. iPhone 16, let's say.
16 now.
I think we're on 16. I think we're up to 16.
Okay.
But whatever one it is that's coming out, the latest advert is fully filmed on the phone. That's how good the quality is now, and that's why I'm not ashamed to say that. Yeah. You know this is being filmed in 4K, 30 frames.
Get you.
Like
4,000 pixels.
Exactly.
Of it. Yeah. And you could do that with a simple setup.
There is almost no excuse now. For not being creative.
No.
You know, to put all this setup together that I've got here cost me a couple of £100, plus the cost of the phone that I've got anyway.
You're lucky that you've got...
I'm very blessed to have access to a theatre. I am. I know that's a rarity. But
you could do it in any space.
You could do it in any quiet... You could do something like this in any quiet space.
Towels on the wall.
Yeah. Or if you wanted to make a film, it doesn't always have to be the big film.
No.
You need to start...
It's storytelling.
Yes, and
you
start
just have
small.
To tell
Start in your kitchen.
Yeah.
Start at your mate's house. Start in the garden.
Absolutely.
Like, you can do it. You can create now. There is...
Go and do it, kids.
Yeah. Take the phone out of your pocket and make something happen.
Yeah, stop filming pushing your mate into a bush with a shopping trolley.
Well, I guess that's I see, you see a lot of that. I've been looking at Dote's.
I did that.
What, is that you, was it?
Yeah. My mates, when we were teenagers in college, one of them wanted to make a birthday video for Daryl Belsey. And we were filming. Joseph went around filming people with birthday messages, and at the end, it was the grand finale was pushing me through the Tesco's car park into a bush from a Tesco trolley. It was that what was it? What's the
Jackass?
No, but before that there was Bam Margera and that. I forget what it's called. It was like YK something.
Don't know.
Oh, I'll get scorned for not flipping remember them. But yeah, and I end up. I think there was a plank. I was like centimeters away from landing on a plank of wood with a rusty nail in it. That's stupid. I've set myself on fire as well. At some point. Yeah.
I think a lot of us boys went through a phase like that, didn't we?
Oh, I'm still going
in an
through
area that I'm so pleased Jackass isn't a thing anymore.
Really?
Yeah, because my son.
It is though. They're doing another one.
They brought it back, is it?
Yeah, they're doing another
I
one.
just don't want my son to discover it.
It's that.
Because he's 18, right. And I know if he's like me, so he will watch it and he will copy
chip off
it.
the old block.
Yeah, and he will copy it, and I don't want that for him. I want him to be safe. And some of the things that I got up to because of that program when I was younger, I don't know how I'm still here.
But they were, as we're saying about creating content. That's how they started off. They had like the biggest video camera in the world, and that's what they were back then. And now they're down to this.
And you know what? The tapes must be somewhere because me and my mates were recording ourselves doing it as well. We were like making mini movies. So
some VHS with some dust in it in the loft somewhere.
Somewhere it needs digging out. And
well, that's your weekend planned then.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it now. Like it must.
Do you have a VHS player? That's the question.
No, I do still have the technology to go back and sort it out because I've got a lot of stuff on tape. That it's always like one of them jobs. I'll get round to that one day.
The family videos.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of them to sort out, but within that, there are some.
See, those things last forever.
Yes.
I was talking about this a while ago with a mate of mine, and we was going, does anyone do family albums anymore? I remember it was a big thing that your mum made a fuss when her friends would come over or new people would come over, and the embarrassing family photo albums would flop out, and and there he was with his willy out in the paddling pool. No. And I just, and I missed family albums and stuff, and I don't have my own. I've got my family, but I don't have my own family unit like you do and many others do. And I just wonder if, like, families in this sort of day and age, they make those family albums.
I do.
You do.
We have
with Polaroid.
We have a few. Well, there was a little period. I don't so much now that my kids are grown up. I think they got to about the age of 12 because that's about when they stop being cute. And they just become annoying, and then you're
when
like,
puppies become dogs.
Exactly.
Right.
So they get to about 12, and you're like, you don't really want to take a photo of them anymore. Like, not intentionally.
Well, I can't say I've ever wanted to take photos of kids. No,
but when you got your own kids, you do. You take photos of them while they're cute, and then they turn into these horrible monsters. And you're like, yeah, we'll forget these years.
The teens.
But no, we've got some family photo albums of like holidays in particular.
Great.
We always made an effort to print
Butlins.
out the holidays. Yeah,
was it a Butlins? Did you do a Butlins holiday?
Did
you?
We did loads of Butlins. Yeah, nice and a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed camping and stuff like that. But yeah, also going abroad and Disneyland and things like that. But it's nice having that tangible thing in your hand, rather than just scrolling past. Well,
that's why I
gets
feel
lost
like,
into the ether.
Yeah,
of
the idea of a photo is completely transformed these days. I think the selfie ruined it.
Yes.
But I remember, and I hate, and you can look through my Instagram and Facebook and stuff, and you'll probably notice I don't like posing for photos. I don't pose for photos. If I can ruin it, I will. The essence, or in my opinion, this is my opinion, the essence of a photo, the beauty of a photo is capturing a moment in time. There's those photos you see, and if you ever watch, if you look at Greg Williams, I implore you, please, go and look at Greg Williams, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. Dude is a genius. He's the photographer of the celebs, probably the first pick of celebrities, and he does a lot of his stuff is black and white. And you watch the photos he takes, and they're all, at the Oscars or this, that, and the other of them walking up and down and he captures all of these people in these perfect moments, and he does it with absolute genius. And when I look at photos and you just see someone's Instagram and they've got 50 photos of all of them with the same, and the only thing's different is their hair's back or style different or their clothes. It's the Zoolander calendar.
Yes, yeah.
I did this to show the many versatilities of it. Do you know what I mean? And there's just, I love the idea of a photograph, but it's that idea of looking back and going, oh, I remember when that happened. And it connects you. You remember what you felt in that moment. But if you say, oh, what was you feeling in that moment? What you mean? That moment. Yeah, I don't know. But I miss that about photographs. And if I had, maybe one day I will, if I ever get 2 pennies to rub together, I'll buy, an old school camera and take some really nice photos and stuff. Because I did photography in college. Failed at it, but I did it.
I think you're right. I think the younger generation is going back to some of those old things. I recently done a little stint as being Father Christmas in grottos.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you borrow Jim Thompson's outfit?
No, actually, I had my own. But I did a little stint in grotto. An actor, you have to pick up these little side gigs.
Yeah.
If you're an actor, and it's something that I've done over the years. That I've done it for the last 10, 15 years. Do you know what I do? I really do.
I figured you would.
Yeah,
it would be my nightmare. But
I love the. I do it as a performance.
Yeah.
I do it as a piece of improvisation.
Yeah.
I have a certain structure. I know this character, this Father Christmas, this Santa Claus. I know
You're flexing your muscles.
Yeah, I know all the facts and the figures about this guy. I know all about his reindeers.
The Jolly Red Man.
I know what he gets up to, and I know how he keeps an eye on all the children with his magic telescope.
Yeah.
And
magic telescope.
He has a magic telescope.
Is this your invention?
This is.
Oh, okay.
This is one of mine.
I can see you with my magic telescope,
and I keep an eye on you. And and I'll.
Do you call it the Santa scope?
No, I haven't, but maybe I'll add that.
There you go.
But I have all these things about. I really enjoy coming back to him as a character.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the interaction with the young children as well when they believe the magic. And even when they don't believe the magic, but they're so enticed by the interaction and the performance that they have a moment of magic.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They even teenagers will come into the grottos, and you'll be like, and you'll have a bit of banter with them.
Really?
And you'll say, "Have you been? I know you haven't been good."
That panto coming back out.
It's the panto stuff as well. And
where did you do it? Was it in a Harvey Centre or something?
No, not in a farm.
In a farm?
A children's activity farm.
Cool.
A couple of different places. But I can't remember where I was going with this now, but I just really enjoy doing that as a performance.
And you're going to recur it every year, are you?
I can't.
They've already booked you for next Christmas?
No, not necessarily.
They should.
I had a few years off of doing it recently, but it's something that I'll always enjoy going back to.
Yeah.
And it's something, the kind of thing as well, as a working actor, I'd even like to do it for charity, for children that can't necessarily afford to get to grottos.
You're such a lovely man, Martin.
Oh, I appreciate it. There's something in the giving, I think.
Yeah.
Something in there's not perhaps a lot a person can do. Sometimes they may think,
but a little bit.
But you can do a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you can make someone's Christmas for 5 minutes through doing the thing, the tools that you have. A lot of people
associate charity with money.
Mm-hmm.
Your children in needs and stuff like that, Red Nose Days. But my mate Joseph, for decades now, has gone down on Sundays and done what was called the chocolate run with the church.
Mm-hmm.
I remember every single Sunday I'd go and knock on his door and, is Joseph here? No, Myles, he's doing the chocolate run. Oh, okay, right. And he's kept it up all these years. He's one of the most charitable people I've ever known. And all that is just sacrificing your time, a few hours. What does time cost? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. Not really. You've got loads of time.
But the value that they can give to someone else can be immense.
Makes all the difference. A hot meal, a cup of coffee, just an ear, someone to talk to. I mean, I've not experienced it myself. I've donated my time to, to charitable events. I've done, I've ran the marathon, did raising money for Artistry Research UK. That was my way of giving back for my arthritis medication. And yeah, the charity, the act of charity, it can be anything. Donating your clothes, taking some... people forget what Boxing Day was. Do you know?
Go on.
Boxing Day originally was day after Christmas. You box up all your old shit because you got all the new shit coming in. You take your old shit down to a charity and you donate it. That's what Boxing Day was. And people have lost the meaning of that.
Now it's become everyone going
now
down to
it's
the...
my day off.
Yeah, and everyone jumping down the sales and spending all the money they haven't yet somehow spent.
I mean, if you know the meaning of Black Friday, it's grim.
Yeah, well, isn't it? It's to do with slavery.
It was a day of the. I believe it was a day of the week where there was a special discount on sales of slaves.
Yes, yeah. And we use that now, and and it's become celebrated.
It's a hallmark.
Yes,
it's a hallmark. It's what people look forward to all year. Ironically, but I mean, I'm guilty of it. I have bought Christmas presents in the Black Friday sales.
Well, you're enticed in, aren't you, with the opportunity to save a couple of pennies?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you forget for a moment.
I mean, these days, especially, every penny counts. Mm-hmm. Every penny counts.
So back on topic a little bit.
Which one?
Which topic? On the creativity. So what does the future hold for you at the moment? Is there any? Are you looking forward to your acting career? Is there something in the pipeline?
I mean, originally I set the goal out. I wanted to do 3 years with drama school, and that was with Identity IDSA, which is a part-time acting school. And that's challenging in itself because, I mean, there was times where I was working 12-hour shifts and then driving an hour and a half to get to class. You do a 3-hour class and then an hour and a half back, getting home at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and then getting 5 hours sleep to get up and do it all over again. Mm-hmm. So it's commitment. It's commitment. But yeah, I set out to do 3 years, and it's been a long, hard 2 years. I've loved it. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. I will do it all over again, and I will continue doing it until I feel until I feel that there is an obvious or natural next step. I set the commitment to do 3 years and then push the boat out and do auditions. I still haven't done any auditions yet. I've been learning the art of how to audition, and it's nerve-wracking. It is. It's putting your hopes and dreams into something. It's. I imagine. I can't say. Haven't done it yet. I've practiced it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's the goal. I want to, foolishly or not, become a full-time actor. And I'm not talking what some people associate that with like, box office cinema or anything like that. I mean, if I do, fantastic. I just want to be able to go and do it as a living, do something I love. And my dad, everyone, loads of people have probably, you've heard it throughout your life where someone says, if you enjoy what you do, you'll never really work a day in your life. That's bullshit. You still will work. Mm-hmm. It's hard work, but you'll love it. You won't begrudge getting up on a Monday morning and dragging yourself out of bed. Yes. I want that. I want that. That's what I want. And I'm willing to work hard. It's one of the things I've worked hardest for ever in my life. And I will continue doing so. I'll find new ways to work harder, new ways of discovering stuff about characters and stories. And, the work never really finishes. If you think it does, you're doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. You're doing it wrong. There's always a lesson to be learned and something new. And I'll just keep going. I will keep going. Whether that means I'll end up on Holby City or, they always say you'll end up doing Holby at some point. Probably. Great, bring it on. I can't wait. I can't wait to do it. I've done all the little extra bits of work. I want to act in front of the camera, like, properly.
Tell me a little bit more as to why.
Oh. Selfishly, it's the way it makes me feel. It makes me feel complete, makes me feel whole, gives me a sense of purpose, a sense of belonging. When I'm on set or in front of a camera, I know I'm meant to be there. It doesn't feel odd. It's the one place in my life that it all makes sense. Sounds like drivel, and I should have put a disclaimer at the beginning of this. There'll be a lot of waffle bollocks, but it's true. I've done a lot in my life so far. I can proudly say I've done a lot in my life so far up to this point, but I've never found a community or a sense of belonging really where I know I'm meant to be, and I love it. It's my drug. I am addicted to it. Whether that's healthy or not, we'll find out. If I go down the route of method acting to the point of where I start ripping teeth out, or God knows. I hope not. I don't really like the idea of method acting. I think it's a bit destructive, but each to their own. But I will look at new ways of exploring this medium that I can't wait to do it. It's in me. It's in us. It's in us. And I think it's in everyone, a little bit. It is, whether you choose to admit it or not.
So I'm thinking back now to the big. You told me about the beginning of your life changing for you is when you had this accident with your rugby.
Yeah.
If you could say something, you said at that point in your life you were very frustrated. If you could say something to your younger self back then, being where you are now with these hopes and dreams for the future.
You're like Hot Ones, man. You're like that Hot Wings interviewer. See, this is your jam. This is oh mate. I've listened to some of the other interviews, and this is just where you are in your element. I mean,
do you know what I feel like? I feel like it's a combination of life events are unfolding in front of me.
Yeah.
A combination of everything that's happened before has been for this right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where, like I say, I've got hopes and dreams and goals and aspirations, but right now, it's the combination of where it's all come from before.
Mate, you are the shit at this. You are le poo, as the French say. I'd love it. I appreciate it's amazing watching you interview.
Are you avoiding the question?
No, I'm not. I will
let's flatter him so I don't have to say.
No, but I'm paying compliments where compliments are due.
No, I appreciate that, and I think that and that means a lot. That means a huge amount, because often when you're doing something creative and you're putting yourself out there, it's very easy to go to a place of self-doubt.
Yeah.
Very easy. It's the self-talk in the head can...
inner voice is a bitch.
Yeah, it's not your best friend.
No.
It should be, and you need to train it to be and guide it.
Train it. You need to find a way to get your inner voice to be nicer to you now and again.
Yeah.
And
but the world, I feel like the world has formed that voice.
Yeah.
So a lot of moments in your life come in and out.
Create your own positivity.
Yes. So when someone comes in,
make your inner voice your own champion.
When someone like you comes in and goes, "No, I think you're doing the right thing," you'll go, "Ooh. Oh, I'll continue this
reassurance.
I'll continue this for a moment longer." So it's very much appreciated.
But this is it's great to watch, and I've seen it where some of the other guests on here have said as much. You're inquisitive.
Mm-hmm. I'm interested.
This is the acting training. Mm-hmm. You listen. I think a lot of people don't realise out there that acting is reacting, but it's listening. It's the way you give the most truthful response to any kind of text or dialogue. It's really listening to what the other person's saying, what they have to say, how they're saying it, what they mean by what they're saying. And then you can respond with the lines, pre-prepared lines. But if you listen, it doesn't sound rehearsed. You're really responding.
That's why I've come away from in the beginning. I had some notes, and occasionally I
didn't see the book.
The book is down.
It's down there.
It's down, and it's been more and more down. Yeah. It starts off with the notes are maybe that's me at home preparing. There's got to be some preparation. There is a phone. There is for a moment there. That's going to be interesting to watch back.
I thought you were letting one rip into the sofa.
No. For a moment there, the floor was vibrating. There is a phone. Is it not your phone?
No, I switched it off.
Oh well, I hope
I'm a good guest.
I hope I remembered to put this on aeroplane mode, and it's not.
It's your fault, audience.
Recording.
You're vibrating.
Yeah.
To circle back to what your original question was.
Should we just have a pause on that moment?
Have a pause.
Just in case.
You can put it to do not disturb.
Well, yeah, just in case that stopped the recording.
Or you've
We're
got
still
something
recording.
urgent.
We're still recording sound. No, I think I shouldn't. You never know, do you? But yeah, let's pause.
Yeah. What's happened?
So I don't know if there's been some update, but it's showing a photo of Gemma and her friends.
So someone has sent a photo to Martin, or his phone is pranking him by showing him a picture of his wife and her friends.
iPhone storage is full.
No!
And I checked it earlier. Let's just see how far we got in.
Someone didn't do a memory dump.
That vibrating.
Was it? That was it?
That was a warning.
Oh, no.
Yes. It's because I did the one earlier.
Right. It's because you're recording in 4K, dude.
Yes, so the end of this episode is going to be... Have you got a phone?
Yeah.
Should we film the
What, and I'll send you the file?
Yes.
Yeah. You've got to put that in the episode. The sequel.
Part 2, and we're wrapping this up.
Yes.
Because I've taken the car keys.
Someone's blown it.
Yes, and my daughter's waiting for me the other side of town. So, but yeah, and the memory on we're learning lessons. Memory on the iPhone is full after doing 2 podcasts
check
in
storage,
a day.
Check.
Well, I checked the storage. It looked fine, but I reckon it hadn't updated from the earlier episode that I recorded, maybe.
Right.
But yeah. No, that's got to be clear.
So wrapping up now. Wrapping up.
So we are
saying goodbye.
We are saying goodbye. Maybe we'll come back to this.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, in a few episodes time.
I would love to.
Yeah,
this has been.
We've got loads to talk about, haven't we? And yeah, it's good to talk. Good to reminisce on these stories and
do you know what?
share.
I think this is the longest that you and I have ever actually conversed.
It probably is. We've lived in the same town. We've got a lot of mutual friends.
Yeah.
And our paths have crossed a bit over the years.
Yeah, absolutely.
A hello in a pub or something briefly, but yeah, then we've sat down for an hour or so and
friends forever.
Friends forever. Yeah. No, very much appreciate you being part of this.
Oh man, like I say, big fan. Yeah. So I was always going to say yes. Absolutely.
No, and that's appreciated. That support in the early days of a project, of an adventure, of a journey. People going, yeah, go on.
Well, one day you'll do the live stage version.
Yes.
You'll get someone mega famous on here, and then you'll do the live stage.
Well, I've been considering that with this.
Yeah,
doing a
reaching
live
out
stage
to someone.
Well, even the guests that I've already had on.
Well, one day when they make it, invite them back.
Now, let's do this. So you're booked in for next week. But I got the stage. I've got there is people do find entertainment within these conversations.
Yes, absolutely.
And these stories that we have to share. But maybe I can, maybe in a few episodes' time, I'll start to pull a few people together, and I'll come up with an evening of talks. Maybe
that'd be cool. Can't wait to go and watch.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. But no, that's very interesting. You highlighting that, and this is something that people do, isn't it? You do get a few of these live, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I know famously off the top of my head, Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, the Jay and Silent Bob. They did I think Kevin Smith did the comic book member. He took the show on the road. I don't know if it was to Comic Cons but it was a live event. I can think of Zach Braff and Donald Faison with Fake Doctors, Real Friends. Loved that. That's what got me through the pandemic. They did live shows. I think they did one which was a live audience and one which was live streaming.
Yes.
So there's a huge. I'm sorry, I've kicked you. You've kicked me. There we go. It's just back and forth footsie. But there's definitely a market for it. Absolutely. It's, as you say, it's entertaining. Just watching two people
converse and have a conversation and tell stories.
Yeah. Well, the fact that you don't know what the story is about or where it's heading is interesting enough.
And nothing's pre-preplanned. Nothing's pre-prepared. And there are some questions and places that I want to go to.
Yeah.
As the I don't like to call myself an interviewer, but as like the host. The host. I think
host with the most.
Yeah, the host. I'm hosting your stories and giving you a platform to share rather than interviewing. Sounds a bit.
Just don't call yourself a content creator. You're above that.
No. It's not about the content. It's about sharing the stories. But let's get back to that final question.
No offense to content creators out there.
No, do your thing, but that's not my thing. I'm not creating content.
You're a different breed.
I'm sharing stories. I'm sharing information. But yeah, your last question. Let's not escape that. Okay.
What was it again?
So what
would I tell my younger self?
What would you say to your younger?
To reassure.
You was at that point of frustration.
Yeah.
Of desperation. Doom and gloom. But now you've found something in your life.
Well, luckily, the younger me figured it out, and it was just fake it till you make it. Fake the happiness, and eventually it will come. But if I could go back and talk to that little Ponce, I'd just say, love yourself a little bit more. Be kinder to yourself. Have faith. Not everyone's destiny is pre-planned, and you're doing all right. Give yourself a break. And eventually it works out. It all works out in the end. And it's all about having that goal. I didn't have the goal back then. I was trying to find the goal. I found the goal. Something to work towards. I need to be kept busy, idle hands and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I need focus. I started learning languages like Japanese and German and Spanish and stuff in Duolingo just to keep my brain healthy. And it is just, I needed something, and I'm glad I found it. So if I could say anything to the younger me, it would be that. Just love yourself a little bit, be kinder, have faith, find the goal, and just believe in yourself. And I'd say that to tell anyone out there in TV world, say it to yourself. Absolutely. I mean, take it from someone that's, personally and secretly gone through mental health issues. If you can't deal with it by yourself, speak to someone else. If you can't find someone to help you, there are places, Samaritans and stuff. Contact someone, talk to a professional. It's not good to keep it in. You need to talk to someone. Find me at Myles Lovell on Instagram. Reach out to me. I'll talk to you. Find a friend, whoever's willing to listen, because everyone needs someone to listen, no matter what you're going through. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Wonderful. That's a wonderful, beautiful place to finish this. I really appreciate your time.
Oh, I appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, really do. Thank you ever so much. Thank you. We'll do the. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Thank you. Thanks again.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That was the BTS Creative Academy podcast, Uncut. I appreciate you joining us for this conversation. If you'd like to find out more about the BTS Creative Academy, just search BTS Creative Academy. And so that you don't miss out on any future conversations, don't forget to like and subscribe.